I once walked into a bar and witnessed a fight. The fight was with me and a man I picked at random. It was a good fight. It was a strong fight. It was an improvised battle.
Hey, this week we're going to be doing improvisation, and it's also the topic that I'm reviewing. Hi-yo! Yes! It's that kind of comedy gold that my improvising will likely yield. Now, of course, I'm doing performance improvisation, but we can take this as a review of any kind of improvisation because you have to improvise in all sorts of situations in life. You can't always follow a plan. You can't always be a guy on a show with a script written by a host who really should have written a script this week. A big plus of improvisation is that it forces you out of your comfort zone. Like me, I normally write scripts, but, there's many other applications. For example, you might have the same solution to the same problem every single time it comes up, and without improvising or experimenting, you might never realize that there's a better solution, or one that isn't as expensive or whatever. Plus, for travel, it can keep you from getting bored going to the same weekend spot over and over again. Or for partners, it can keep you from being married too long. What? But sometimes you can be in a situation a little too sensitive for you to want the other person involved to improvise, like, say, a colonoscopy. And in still other situations, the task at hand can be so simple that to improvise really would just be causing yourself problems. Improvisation has actually saved lives over the years. Just looking back through history, court jesters, if they couldn't improvise a really funny, great routine for the king, they'd often get their heads cut off. And what about that guy who invented penicillin by improvising with a bit of mold that he found? Or what about when Winston Churchill improvised how to win World War II? What about that? So how do you judge if someone's doing a good job improvising? Well, one thing, of course, is whether or not they're taking incredibly long pauses between their ideas, not really thinking quickly on their feet if they're not thinking quickly. And then, of course, you can always look over at Drew Carey, see what he thinks, and then consider it the opposite. Hi-yo! Yeah, take that. I don't even like the American version just because of him, though Wayne Brady's singing is beautiful. And of course there's also the way that the people who are improvising react to unexpected stimuli. If they move really quickly. See? That was good improvising. That's not what improvising means. Improvising is also what keeps your routines from getting stale and unexciting, like my sex routine with your mother. You know what, honestly, I've never really gotten that joke because, like my mom, she's 60 years old, and if she's doing it with a bunch of guys in their 20s, go mom? I would say my own personal greatest difficulty with improvisation is knowing when to finish. I was a member of an improv troupe for a couple of years in high school, and I found the biggest problem, the most common difficulty that we would have, is knowing when to stop. Knowing when to just stop blathering on and on about random topics. You've moved 10 miles away from what you were originally talking about, although I guess I've kept on topic reasonably well. Anyways, for the love of God, this was a horrible experiment, and I'm not sure if I like it. Please feel free to either say nice things in the comments if you liked it, or to rub my nose in it like a dog, the whole dog nose in the shit thing. I don't think I've ever actually seen anybody do that. It sounds really humiliating for everybody involved. Kind of like this episode. See you next week.
Daily improvisation is a fun exercise and improves your quality of life. For example, taking the bus in the morning. Who needs a driver? You can do that better by improvising. Hijack the bus. So now you're on the bus. You know a better route, don't you? Ignore the passengers. They're all plebes anyways. And those cops behind you? Why, you can improvise your way out of that. There's a hatchet somewhere on this bus. Well, maybe a gun.